Oh, Betty.
This is the best part.
Okay. Where is Betty? Oh, there she is. Wait, Grandma's coming out.
Am I going to block you?
Grandma part of the show?
He's holding the cue card. He's holding the cue card.
Okay. You're on, Fred.
Okay. Wow.
Good evening, or I'm not really sure if it's evening yet. Welcome to Zadie's 80th birthday, even though this was like 2 months ago it happened.
Woo! Yeah.
You're on the microphone this time.
I'm Freddie, for those of you who don't know who me. I'm pretty sure you all do though, so we're moving on. You, please stop talking.
All right.
There you go.
Okay, so, first of all, I need a script because I'm not sure what to say, but I'm just going to say what's the first thing that comes to my head. Zadie is a person who is very creative. He always wants to do these projects with me. I'm not even sure if you can hear me right now.
Maybe go stand close.
Someone's videoing. Okay. Is someone videoing?
I am.
Okay.
Stand and let him.
Scream.
And as you all know me, I am his grandson. So, I don't have a lot of stuff to say. Like, there was that time where I asked Zadie for all of his money, and he was like, it was a classic. And then there was a time me and Zadie built that paper airplane thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
So the next thing on the list.
Okay, Devorah speaks.
Good job.
Good job, Fred. Good job.
Great job.
I have my crib sheet. All right, so as Alice reminds me, I made her cry at my dad's 60th birthday speech, which I didn't really remember so well. But I'm not going to make you cry this time. I'm going to make you cry. All right. I decided I would talk about my dad using the sections of the New York Times. Okay? So describing Dad based on each section. So I'm going to start with his favorite section. Does anyone think they know what his favorite section is?
We all know.
Holly.
Cooking, baking.
Yeah?
Food.
It's
Food.
not science. It's not science. So, my dad and food. Loves all food. One of his favorite things to say is, I don't think there's any food I don't like as long as it's cooked right. But even then, I'll eat it.
The fish was always cooked right as a kid.
Right.
That's what I remember. It was always perfect, Mom. Perfect.
His carving abilities were par none in our house. It was one slice for the plate, 2, 3, 4 for him, maybe one for you if you were lucky to be standing by. He loves to cook. He loves to bake. He's always asking what he can make. He likes all his little accoutrements, pots, his pans, his special things that he loves. So food is the New York Times section. That's your food. Then comes science, for obvious reasons. We all know he was a physicist, still is. He was an astronomy teacher afterwards. And he generally just loves the world and how it works and is fascinated by all kinds of science, whether it's his expertise or not. Next, I'm going to go to the book review. Dad loves books. He's always reading, I don't know, like 60 books at one time. Fiction, non-fiction, and remembers them. I read a book, forget them all. He remembers exactly what he's reading, exactly what he read about. And just...
That was 40 years.
All right, now you fall asleep a little more and you take longer to read them. But you're still reading a million books. You always have book recommendations. You always love reading the book review and finding out what else is there. Taking your grandchildren to Barnes & Noble to let them get into books. Going to the library. Next we have have the arts and entertainment section. So my dad loves music, loves movies, loves Broadway shows, loves art, loves photography. Watercolor painting is more new. Photography we always know about. Broadway used to take us all the time when we were kids. Even when Mom was in grad school, he'd schlep us to the city and we'd go to TKTS when tickets were affordable. I have very fond memories of that. Knows every movie I can think of. If I say I watched an old movie, he says, "Oh, I know that movie. Isn't that great?" And then I'm going to go to the front section, which is just like you, Dad. It covers everything. National information, international information. What's happening now, articles related to what happened in the past. The op-ed and the editorials, you love that. You always feel you need to know. If you have an opinion, you should always know what someone else's opinion is, so you know what their thoughts are. And it's just like if you open up the paper and it has everything, that's like you, Dad. And the last thing I'm going to say, okay, I might make you cut, is that, I probably said this before GPS was invented, we had Dad. I can't tell you the amount of times I was in the middle of nowhere and someone's like, how are we going to find our way? I'm like, I'm going to call my dad. They're like, yeah, but we're in upstate, wherever. I'm like, hey, Dad, what's up? Where are you? I'm on this road in this town. Oh, sure. I had a conference there 30 years ago. You're going to make a left, then you're going to make a right, then you're going to pass by that gas station.
First he has to say which direction he's facing it. You say, I have no idea what direction. What do you mean what direction I'm facing it? I have no idea.
However, that does not apply in Israel.
Right. I've never asked you where I was in Israel. But literally, we were once on the way. I don't know where I was with a group of friends. We got lost in Brooklyn. And my friends are like, and there was GPS, and they're all trying to search, and they're like, I'm calling my dad. They're like, what's your problem? Why are you calling your dad? I'm like, I'm telling you. He goes, oh yeah, Bubby's uncle had a factory right there. Make a left, make a right, and you'll be back on the highway. My friends didn't believe me, stopped at a bodega, went inside, come out, and they go, your dad was right. So, Dad, thank you for always being our GPS. Our guiding stories to Forever Lost, you're always there. Love you. Okay. All right. Now you got to introduce the next person. Next All right. Next speaker is
Mom/Bubby/whoever.
Wait, you don't have anything to say about her?
Yeah, what do you have to say about
What do you have to say about Bubby?
You gotta give her a warm introduction.
That's what you get.
You remember her from the 70s.
I remember giving me trauma in the first country, so I went to school.
What?
Remember you give me sticks in your first country dying trauma.
That's all he remembers.
Right. Okay. This is called Zadie. Zadie is 80 years young, an octogenarian. He has just begun to see what the world holds and what new adventures unfold. There is not much that Zadie cannot do. If he does not know, he figures it out for you. Zadie looks at the forest as well as the trees and solves all your problems with ease. He is always willing to lend a hand and create. His videos and photo arrays are great. His watercolors are really special and pretty. He does them perfectly, including the nitty-gritty. Zadie is a chef par excellence and loves to cook, only if there aren't too many ingredients in the book. His turkey chili was to die for, and next Thanksgiving we all want more. He's always willing to give you advice, and he does it in a way that is always nice. And although he explains things from their derivation, we learn a lot from his explanation. Zadie, a physicist, bemoans he reads too slow, but he remembers what he reads, you know. He remembers fiction, trivia, facts, and all, and exactly at the right time he does recall. Zadie is a super dad and proud of his children 3. I have one of each, he always says to me. And his grandchildren, he thinks they are the greatest, especially great-grandchild Nissan, the latest. So I will take this time to say that I love him more every day. And wish him good health and long life. 220, your way.
Oh, glorious.
You could have been rich. You could have been Dr. Seuss.
I'll be sarcastic.
You're on, Fred.
All right, who's
Okay,
next?
on,
Tell us.
Fred.
Ellen, you're beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wipe some tears. Wipe some tears, Fred.
Slash Aunt Rachel slash Great Aunt Rachel.
That's true.
As you already heard, and most people know, my dad has a very wide breadth of knowledge. So he can tell you not only about physics, he can tell you about politics, he can tell you about geography, he can tell you about cooking, and tell you what the sunniest or the sunniest spot in the United States is at the time. We can tell you why. Because I guess the sun is hotter or bothers you more in San Diego than it does in New York. And, you know, I mean, he's kind of known, people know that about him. And I was thinking, what maybe don't we know that he can teach us or has taught us? And so one thing is one of the reasons he knows so much is he's interested in everything and everyone, and he always displays that interest and shows respect and interest for every person and all kinds of things. So I think that helps him remember that that's also something to learn and know to be that way. So we can learn that from him. And he also always sees the good in people, even when it's hard. And that's another thing we can learn from him. And another thing I was going to say is an example, like I have an example of something I didn't know he taught me. And he told me a few years ago, and I think he remembers this. So when I was about 4, 5, 6 years old, I knew how to swim. And I didn't know we were learning how to swim. And I just assumed that my mother had shown me. Because my mother is a swimmer, and maybe she did at some point. Okay. So, and Mom teaches us a lot of things. But my dad told me that when I was very little, he would take me to this lake, I think, and I was little, and he would hold me in his hand, and then slowly, he would take his hand away, and I was paddling and swimming. So I think that when Dad teaches us, he tries very hard for us even to surpass him, and to figure out how to show us something that he doesn't even do well, because he's not really a swimmer. So I was very surprised that he had taught me that. So I think that I really am grateful and really it's special that you teach people that way. And also especially I think how you teach us to be interested in everyone and to treat everyone. And I saw a saying that reminded me, because I really think that that's one of the best lessons that has helped me out to get along in my job and everywhere. And it's from Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel.
Thank you for coming out.
At the goodbye.
Fred. He went to the bathroom.
I have to take my parents' car.
Yeah.
Are you taking them home?
No, it's in the driveway.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
It's in your house.
He's younger.
Let me just relay a story after Cole.
Do you want to wait for Dan to come back? Should we wait for Dan? Walk out his parents.
Oh, I can video.
We'll just thought Dan might want to hear.
D.
We're waiting for Fred anyway. We're waiting for Fred.
swimming there, and there's a guy next to her. She's looking at him, and she says, "Hi there, 9 months old. Hi there."
Fred's back.
That was my
Okay,
girl.
Fred is
Should
back.
we wait a minute for Dan, or let's wait a minute?
Oh, wait,
I think Dan went to walk his parents out. Should we open the gift?
Is that a bad?
Yeah, gifts.
Yeah,
We're gonna. Just Dan went to walk his parents out. In the meantime, we're gonna. These are from everyone. Some gifts.
Oh.
This one's from me.
I like the
No, I don't have
Hanukkah.
Bert's
I like the
gift there.
Hanukkah wrapping.
Bert wants to give us in private.
He might have sent something to me.
Mirand's gonna get it. We can start with these and.
I like the Hanukkah wrapping paper. Very timely.
Flannels, fashion, Hanukkah wrapping paper. Tried hard, but only so hard. The first one is,
Oh yeah.
really matched up with Devota's speech, I have to say. So, you open that one first.
I want to guess it's a buzzer. Thank you. Or a ball game of some sort. You never know.
I want to get the book.
We're getting hard on you there.
Jordan did a nice job writing.
Jordan did an excellent wrapping job.
Look at that wrapping. It's really good.
Jordan,
Really
she left it in the box.
Yeah, I left it in the box by accident. Oops.
The wrapping is really impressive.
Oh, it's a remote.
We left it in the box. I'll put some price tag on. Bobby will tell me it's a faux pas.
My bad.
We might need a box cutter.
No, you don't. I checked.
You checked, you just didn't do it.
No, I checked it. I was like, oh, he wants it in the box, and then I'll just make sure you can open it.
So anyway, just to echo some of the things that Laura and Rachel said. Some of us want to get up in the middle.
I was right.
Books.
I feel like that's the answer.
We're talking about books
really
and
works.
how the world really works.
Oh,
That title is very appropriate for you.
Bacalau's wheel.
The science behind how we got here and where we're going.
Slow down.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'll tell you the answer.
You'll tell us what you're going to do. All right. Here, this is from Bert and Alice, I assume?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Read what it
Oh, you
says.
gotta read the note. You gotta read the
I
note.
read right.
I think he read it when he gave
The
it.
best guy, and may this gift keep you healthy, so that we can celebrate many, many more occasions, and many more birthdays and good health. Thank you.
one guess what they gave him for his 40th birthday party. A water bottle.
And we said,
No, we didn't give
We
A
can gift.
blood pressure machine for a 60.
All right, so what did you give
It's all for you, Dan.
That's very
This
funny.
whole day is for me.
You want to know how this works?
No! Say no!
Actually, Alex, he really does know everything.
What is it?
Isn't it garbage?
Garbage?
yeah, just hold in your pocket.
Okay, and I said, I wonder why that is. He said, you want to know?
We usually go out for a second.
And remember when we got lost and he said, how could we be going east? The sun is not there.
All right, and this
We would have been in the West Bank. And we were in Canada.
occasionally, once in a while, you and Mom might argue about one thing or another. So this gift is to help you discuss. This is to help you have one less, maybe one less discussion.
No, what I hear is, Ellen, just stop.
Very good. Good. Very good.
Ellen.
You're not speaking at Grandma and Eddie Shell's party.
What'd you say?
You're not speaking at my parents' party.
You're not?
He's not.
Why?
Because he'll say that and my phone will
Yeah.
go crazy.
Let me tell you what Joel used to do. He used to go upstairs, and I'm upstairs, and halfway up he'd say, Alex, stop it. I'm in my room. I'm not doing anything. And my father comes after me because, Alex, stop it.
I used to say before my brother hit me, I used to scream and say, he's hitting me before he even hit me. so that you get in trouble before you even.
What is that?
Which brother?
Video doorbell.
It's a video doorbell with an extra loud chime. Video doorbell. Now you can get the people on your phone and you'll be able to hear it. And you're going to videotape who knocked off the bumper from your car.
Yes.
Because this ring actually goes back in time and videotapes what happened 3 weeks ago. Anyway, so, and if you need help installing it,
You know,
It's a
we'll buy the
Also, I took for everybody who spoke, I took that still picture.
Well, if you had a ring,
Okay,
you
you
could
want.
prove it.
But I'll leave that up to you.
Okay, now I
As you are with that.
Uncle Dave.
The gifts are from everyone. From all of us.
everybody.
Wait.
Every time it rings, I'm going to think of
Dad,
everybody.
you were talking about getting the video before you go away. The
No,
video
it was right up there.
and we were all laughing because you had it.
Yeah, at Chavez we started talking about it, and then we were all looking at each other.
Yeah.
Okay, Fred, you're on.
So go to the bathroom.
Dad.
Next up is Dave,
I can wait.
but luckily after Dave is dessert, so that's it for a little while.
I'll be quick.
What a great
Dessert
intro
is
for
after,
Uncle
so he
Dave.
wants me to go.
There's a song before dessert.
Oh, all right, Fred.
All right, Dave, take front and center.
I thought
I'm waiting for Juliet. So
I'm waiting for
Fred and
Juliet.
I are gonna riff. Fred and I are gonna riff now. Waiting for Juliet.
You said riff, riff is a musical term. Yours is not musical.
Dad, Fred thought the song unless it was you were going to sing a song.
You wouldn't be so lucky.
David, are you fitting into an extra large t-shirt?
On top of another shirt.
Wow. That deserves a clap.
Thanks, Fred.
I got it.
Just waiting for my eyes.
You make it like
The nicest way about you. You're never jealous of people. You're always happy for people. Their simcha is your simcha, and it just warms my heart to see your beautiful family, and how beautiful it is that we came to this. And you're 80 years old
video.
now, and Baruch Hashem, you'll always be good and wonderful. And you always have a lot of laughter.
only simchas.
Nice, Dad. Help people along the way, too.
But this is your family and your simcha.
Now I really feel bad because Alice took my speech.
I got it from Devola.
Oh, okay, fine. All right.
You ready? You're waiting for...
Oh, she's back.
Oh,
Go for
okay.
it. So,
I was just doing something.
okay. So, I said when my dad turned 70 that I said everything I had to say at the 60th birthday party. Talked about...
Well, nobody remembers.
well, I was going to try and not repeat it anyway.
I remember.
But, you know, it was very similar. She remembers everything that I ever did. Unfortunately, mostly, I don't know, mostly, whatever. I'll hear about it later. I probably owe her a few bucks also. Laughing, but. All right. You know, and my 60th speech echoed a lot of what Rachel and, you know, Laura said here tonight about my dad, all the New York Times and his attitude and his intelligence, of course, and you know, how wherever he is, you know, there was a very famous movie when I was a kid called Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and the guy was famous for saying, wherever you are, that's the place to be. My dad is, you know, lives that. Wherever he is, it's the greatest place in the world. You know, Route 306 in Muncie. Somehow he finds like, the beauty in that. Nobody finds the beauty in that. But somehow
He ended up marrying my cousin, the guy from the beach club. That's it, I tell you.
Anyway, when I think about my dad and what he is, and he's really what he is an analyst. He's always analyzing. He's always seeing things and analyzing them, and making inferences and making conclusions and thinking about them again, coming up with some more conclusions, and always a teaching moment like that. And I remember my Uncle Joel, who was the only brother, could say, you know, paralysis by analysis sometimes. So my dad has a little of that, you know, sometimes. You know, I remember once he finally picked out a Sony flat screen TV after, you know, the usual amount of research, which is a significant amount, and then he goes to buy it and it's been discontinued. So, you know, he does a lot of research. And
No, it wasn't. It's inside. It's inside. And the lesson I learned is never buy anything whose last name is Point.
Yeah,
that's a good speech writes itself.
But I did.
But you can't always be right? You know, you can be very smart and you can be very analytical, but not every situation, you know, where you come to a conclusion can actually be right. So I'm going to give one example where my father's advice didn't turn out so well, and one example where it did turn out very well.
It's going to be funny, whatever it is.
What? What did you say?
It's going to be whatever it is going to be funny. Wait. You're laughing.
So, my parents bought me a basketball hoop for our driveway in Muncie, and, you know, I started using it. It was okay at basketball. Not great, not terrible. My dad's watching me, like most fathers, watch their son shoot a few hoops. And, you know, most fathers will go, you know, jump a little higher, or run a little faster. But my father says, you know how nuclear fusion works? I'm like 10 years old. I said, of course you know what are you talking about? So I'm like, what, Dad? I'm like, he goes, you know, when they bomb protons in a nuclear fusion reaction, they do it from on top because then the mass of the whatever, uranium or something, the proton comes down and it hits more in the middle, and therefore your foul shots, you should throw them high. Because you have a better chance of going in the middle. And so,
He stands by that.
right. So he's right. So, and I'm probably telling that part all wrong, the science is probably all wrong, but that was the point. That was my dad's analysis of foul shooting. So he hasn't been hired by the NBA yet. But then, of course, I went to a school called MTA. Now, right now, everyone knows there's a giant, beautiful gym called the Stern Gym, where it has a beautiful basketball court and all that. But back then, the MTA gym was in the basement. In the basement of the MTA gym, they called it the tomb. The ceiling was 12 feet high. A basket is 10 feet high. If you hit the ceiling at MTA, it's considered out of bounds. Every single one of my foul shots hit the ceiling. So then the team's ball every time I shot the ball, and I'm like, no one wants to be on my team. I'm like, I have a high arcing shot. Like, my dad taught me that. So basically, I had no friends in high school. Basketball. And so sometimes, you know, nuclear fusion lessons.
Credit for making him a good golfer.
He's getting my It's good, I like it. I can work with it.
You're stealing his punchline.
So, fast forward a bunch of years, and we haven't played that much golf together. My dad has, of course, read many, many more books about golf. I played probably more golf this month than that, so quite addicted to the sport. But I did take my dad a few times, and we were at a place called New York Country Club. And on the last hole, my drive went in a fairway bunker, which is like a sand on the off the fairway, and then you have to hit it from there to the green. So my dad's sitting in the cart or sitting next to me, and I go and I hit the ball, and I don't hit it so great. And what does my dad say? What did all parents say? Well, you should angle your shoulders or this. He goes, no. Do you know what the first derivative of acceleration is? Did you? No, of course I didn't. But I do know now. The first derivative of acceleration. Anyone know besides Zadie? Besides Zadie?
Exactly.
Zach? Anyone? The first derivative of acceleration is a jerk. A jerk. And he was explaining to me that you're accelerating through the bunker.
Is it really a jerk?
Accelerating, and then if it hits the sand and stops, and then you keep going, so the acceleration then changes because you hit the sand, then you rip through it, and the sand stopped it. but you continue, that's a jerk. And you don't want to be doing that because you're not going to hit the ball correctly if your acceleration ends in a jerk. And that piece of advice has actually helped me in golf because sometimes when I'm going badly in golf, I kind of think of a smooth acceleration and I'm trying to avoid, changing the acceleration, which is the first derivative.
See, don't be a jerk.
So, the truth is, most kids do not know about nuclear fusion. And those kids don't know that but you guys will all remember now that the first derivative of acceleration is a jerk. Jerry, next semester. And so I just like to, one more since I'm here. Unless there's a time limit.
Since someone's listening.
No. I mean, and one time when I was home for a weekend in law school, I had my civil procedure books open, I was reading, and I was telling my dad asked me, what are you learning, what are you doing? And I told him it was like subject matter jurisdiction and this, that. And my dad makes, I'm explaining him the cases and what's going on. He makes some offhanded comment, which is, of course, I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting what you're saying. So it happened to be that I'm a guy who I sat in the back, I never raised my hand. I'm one of those guys who just wants to get through the day. And they start talking about these cases, and all of a sudden they're talking about the subject, and kind of the thing my dad said kind of was quite, now I don't remember it exactly at this point, but it's kind of appropriate. So I raised my hand, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not a guy who ever raises his hand, so the teacher saw my hand up, so he called on me right away, because who is this guy? He's been sitting there the whole class, I never said a word. This guy, by the way, the guy's name is John Sexton. He was that was my civil procedure story. He was dean of law school. He became the head of NYU. And I think he really wanted to run for president eventually. He was that type of guy, but so I basically repeated word for word what my dad said about his flippant comment that he made to me on Friday night after I gave him like a little bit of information. And the professor was like, "That's such a great point," and he goes on, and he never looked at me the same. He like that guy in the back, a smart comment, like he must be some genius. Like in the back, I made one comment that my dad flippantly made to me at night. So most of the advice was good. Just the one basketball shot.
So I remember
No, you have to, let me paint the difference. The advice is always good, it just doesn't always apply. So I'll give you the example. The first time I believe we picked up a golf club, we were on our 3,000-mile motorhome trip in 1980, and we were in this world-class motorhome park in Orlando, which had a par 3 golf course. First time he picks up the golf club and he hits the ball and it goes, 50 yards away and it goes where it's supposed to go. I take it and I swing it, and of course I jerked and it ended up in the pond. So we go over to find the pond, and what does it say? Beware of alligator. So
I still remember what you said.
All right, this is 660. Okay.
But she doesn't forget what you said.
I don't forget what you said. You said that if you want to know something, you ask my father. But if you want to get something done, ask your mother. Like when your father woke up this morning, yesterday morning, and he said to me, "We're not what we were, but we are what we are." Right? Am I quoting that? So he must have been drinking half the night.
no. Quarter of it.
All right, so that's what I had to say, Dad.
Just hang out with him.
Picture. Where's Fred?
Where's Fred? Raising hand.
I got it.
Oh, yeah?
Here, get back here.
Dad, go back.
That's a good one.
You can tell they don't do it often.
Say it for your That was the line. That's a great line. That's a great line, kid. What?
My dad said it.
Oh, that's what he said? Oh,
He
I
said
didn't hear.
something
I
about
thought
that.
you said-
I put on the front.